Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Parenting in Practice, where we take real life parenting challenges and look at them through the lens of developmental science. I'm Dr. Jamie Carter, child psychologist and mom of two.
And I'm Alex Rivera, parenting coach and former elementary school counselor. My job and my passion is helping families decode the why behind kids' behavior and figure out how to respond in ways that work.
Today, we're walking through 5 stories, each from a different stage of childhood. We'll talk to the parents directly, explain what's going on developmentally, and share what decades of research can teach us about handling these challenges. Case 1. 3 months. The evening crying marathon.
Camilla and Tom, you wrote that every evening your 3-month-old Liam cries for hours. You've tried bouncing, feeding, swaddling, singing, and even snoo, but nothing works. You're both exhausted, and Camilla, you're blaming yourself.
What you're describing matches what researchers call infant colic. As Ian St. James Roberts found in a large review of infant crying patterns in 2001, colic usually peaks around 6 to 8 weeks and resolves by 3 to 4 months. Importantly, his work shows that colic is not a sign of bad parenting and has no link to long-term developmental problems. So don't worry.
And according to a long-term follow-up study by Carnivette and his colleagues in 2000, babies who had colic developed just as normally as babies who didn't. This means this isn't a predictor of future issues. It's tough but temporary phase.
There are some things that can help. In 1991, Dr. Ronald Barr and his research team ran a randomized controlled trial and found that increasing the amount of time parents carried their babies, whether in a sling, stroller, or just in the arms, significantly reduced total daily crying. Gentle rhythmic motion, white noise that mimics the womb, and safe swaddling are other strategies supported by research.
There's also some emerging evidence for probiotics. In 2013, Dr. Valerie Sung and colleagues found that a specific probiotic, Lactobacillus reuteri DSM 17938, reduced crying in breastfed babies with colic.
And Camila, your feelings matter here. A 2014 review by O'Hara Wisner found that 1 in 7 mothers experience postpartum depression, and colic can be a major stressor. Taking breaks, getting support, and talking to your provider are important steps for your own well-being. Case 2. 12 months. Former veggie lover, now food tosser.
Kimberly, your 1-year-old Louisa, used to eat peas and carrots, but now she throws broccoli on the floor and asks for crackers.
This is a common stage called food neophobia. Evelyn Kashtan's 1994 research found that toddlers often avoid new or bitter foods as a built-in safety mechanism, something that helped protect our ancestors from eating harmful plants once they stopped moving around independently.
Research by Dr. Leanne Birch and her colleague Marlin in 1982 showed that it can take between 8 and 15 exposures before a young child will accept a new food. The key is to keep offering it without pressure. In fact, in 2006, Dr. Amy Galloway found that pressuring a child to often make them like to eat the food less over time.
The best approach is repeated, pressure-free exposure and modeling. Albert Bandura's work on social learning tells us that children copy what they see. So eat the vegetables yourself in front of Lisa and let her see you enjoying them.
And Kimberly, dietitian Ellie Slater's division of responsibility model says that you should decide what, when, and where food is offered. And Louisa decides whether and how much to eat. In 2007, Lucy Cook and colleagues found that while genetics do influence picky eating, repeated exposure and positive modeling make a big difference.
Case 3, 3 years. daycare doorway meltdown.
Dylan, you told us that your 3-year-old Christine clings to your leg and cries at daycare drop off, even though her teachers say she calms down after 20 minutes.
What you're seeing is separation anxiety. As John Bowlby explained in his attachment theory, securely attached children protest separation because they have a strong bond with their caregivers. Mary Ainsworth's Strange Situation study in 1978 confirmed that crying when a parent leaves and being comforted when they return is actually a sign of a secure attachment.
And cognitively, Christine, can you imagine when you're not there? Something Renee Balagion's work on mental representation showed developments in early childhood. But she doesn't yet have a solid grasp of time. 20 minutes can feel like forever.
The research points to short, predictable goodbye rituals. In Ainsworth's work, consistency builds trust. So a set routine, like 2 hugs and a high five, and I'll see you later after snack can help.
And according to pediatrician and psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott, giving a child a transitional object, like a small blanket or stuffed toy, can make separations easier.
Case 4. 4 years old. Oreo aisle tantrum.
Mike and Courtney, your 4-year-old Nick spotted Oreos in the grocery store, heard no, and threw himself on the floor.
At this age, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles impulse control, is still developing. Dr. Stephanie Carlson's 2005 research on preschoolers' executive function shows that self-regulation is very limited.
And as B.F. Skinner explained in his theory of operant conditioning, if you give in during a tantrum, you reinforce that behavior. That's why even one yes to cookies during a meltdown teaches Nick that tantrums don't work.
Sorry, Alex. They do work. That tantrums do work. An approach called parent-child interaction therapy teaches PRIDE skills, which stands for praise, reflect, immediate, describe, and enthusiasm. These skills increase positive behavior. Dr. Shayla Iberg's 2008 work showed these skills significantly reduce disrupted behaviors in preschoolers.
And once the tantrum ends, labeling the emotion, as John Gottman's 1996 research on emotion coaching suggests, helps Nick learn self-regulation for the future.
And lastly, case number 5. This is from an 11-year-old. School is stupid. I'm sure we've all been there, haven't we, Alex?
Liam and Karina, your 11-year-old Noah used to love school, but now says it's boring and pointless, and his grades are slipping.
Edward Deci and Richard Ryan's self-determination theory explains that motivation grows when kids feel autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Jacqueline Issel's 2011 work on stage environment fit found that early adolescence often brings a motivation drop if school stops meeting those needs.
To address this, John Reeves' 2006 research showed that giving kids more choice in how they approach work boosts engagement. Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset shows that praising effort and strategies, rather than just grades, helps build persistence.
And in 1998, Catherine Wenzel found that feeling connected to teachers predicts both motivation and achievement. Strengthening relationships at school can be a key turning point. These stories remind us that while parenting challenges shift of age, understanding development and leaning on research gives us a roadmap forward.
And to every parent listening, you're doing better than you think. This isn't just about being perfect, it's about being present and willing to learn.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Parenting Podcast. Till next time, see you next week for a new episode.